empty. Let me get to the page that I was on. All right. Well, thanks for coming back, Gwen.
Thank you.
This is our second time trying. Last time, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
I think it was last week, yeah.
Okay. So we came and she did an interview. It was super great. And then right after the interview, I went back to look at the footage and I had forgot to turn on the mics. So I was like, good news is we both look really great in the video, and the not so good news is I forgot to turn on the mics, so there's no sound whatsoever.
It happens.
Yeah, right. So we did a practice run, but I'm so grateful that you came back and did all this again with me.
Sure,
Thank you so much.
It was a trial run. We had other things to say that really needed to be heard. So.
Yeah, I hear you. We got our jitters out of the way.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know Gwen, she's the owner of Mind Body Fitness Connection, the co-founder of the popular Ecstatic Dance OKC, current president of the board at Radiant Healing Arts Center, and owns and operates a private wellness practice, teaches us Qigong to the public and at a behavioral mental health hospital, to just name a few things that she does. Yeah. Well, perfect. So let's see. So where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Oklahoma City and then moved to Yukon as a teenager and graduated from Yukon High School. Okay. Went to college at UCO and graduated with a degree in psychology there. And then right after I graduated, I moved to Washington, D.C. Lived there about 2.5 years and then moved to San Diego. Lived there a little over 5 years and then came back here in 2009. Been here since.
Okay, so you've been here since 2009.
Yeah.
Cool, very good. And so whenever you finished your psychology degree and you moved to DC, what prompted that move?
So I married my high school sweetheart, and he was living in Tennessee at the time. And we had been like separated for a long time. Like he had decided to go to school for sound engineering and moved to Ohio for a little bit to do that. Came back, decided he wanted to move to Tennessee, and it was just one of those things that I was finishing college, wanted to do my things, he wanted to do his things. We made a little joke that if neither one of us were with anybody, when I graduated from college, we'd get married. And that's what ended up happening. So,
oh wow!
So yeah.
But you guys were together for a while because you moved a few places, and you have one son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And let's see what else we got. Okay, so what I like to talk about on the show is what our current religious practice is, what kind of led us to that, and so what was your home like growing up religiously?
Yeah.
And if you want to share that with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a very strict Southern Baptist home, and was not allowed to dance. We were monitored on how much TV we could have and the shows that we could watch. And I don't particularly remember this, but a family friend told me later that we got grounded for playing Pac-Man because there were ghosts in it. So if that gives you any idea of the level of strictness that was in the home, yeah.
Very strict.
Yeah. So I started rebelling early on. I've always been very drawn to spirit. Even as a child, I remember being very drawn. My teenage years, 14, I would say, I just started knowing that something was off in the church, like things weren't right. And then seeing the hypocrisy of not, the talk of love, right, of Christ's love, but then there's all this fear that's preached in the church and promoted in the home in a sense through punishments. And I don't know that I really put all that much of it together, but I just knew, it didn't add up to me. It didn't feel good to me.
Feel right
for sure.
In your
and I can remember 7th grade. I was reading Plato's Allegory of the Cave, and I'm like, yes, this is it. You know what I mean? like, we don't know what's happening. Like, people don't understand the reality. They're looking at the cave wall. There's a whole world out there. So that was like 7th grade, and I was reading Lao Tzu's poetry, and so I was already exploring.
Yeah. How did you find those things? How did they come into your sphere?
Library. Like, I remember just going to the library back in the day, and
Like at school or
no, the public library by my house. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in walking distance. So.
Okay. Did you just go there like walking home from school, or
no? Often I think my mom would take me, and she would do other things, and I would go, but it was real close by. And yeah, I've just spent time looking things up. I think maybe she would drop me off there because I don't remember her being there. I have sketchy memory from that time period. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think then I just rebelled so much that I ended up like turning to, well, the funny thing is then I started dating this older guy when I was like 14, and we would go to the mall and go to this like kind of occult type bookstore. And I remember he would go in with a trench coat and steal books that I wanted.
Oh my God.
So I started reading a lot of different occult type books because it was like the most opposite I could get from what was in my house, and it just made sense.
Sure.
And so yeah, I got involved in Anton LaVey's work of like Satanism and went like on that whole route for just a little while. But as we did talk a little bit last time, there were some really scary things that I saw during that time that manifested, and a lot of it was because I dealt with depression and anger. And there is a lot of depression genetically kind of that runs in my family. And so it took me until my 20s to really work through that and break free of that. And thankfully, I don't deal with that anymore, very rarely. But yeah, so I took that really wild turn, at like 15 into the cult practices for a couple of years, and then just got out of all of it. And my God became drugs.
Oh, really? So like, whenever, let me ask you this question before we get too far. But so like, whenever you were growing up in the church, is there anything that you still kind of hold from those teachings that you feel like you still use today?
I would say Jesus is my hero.
Yeah. Jesus is your hero.
Yeah, for sure. And I've always believed, and I still believe that his statement of "you can do all that I can and more." And so just that power of healing and teaching, I feel like I'm gifted with, and I aspire to do at his level in a sense. So
like Jesus in that way.
And I believe in vibrational frequencies, and like the work of like the consciousness, David Hawkins' consciousness scale, and Jesus being an enlightened being resonating at a vibrational frequency of 1,000, which is like the highest. And so even if I don't ever attain those superhuman powers, which I believe I will, through my Qigong practices, I believe I will lay hands on and heal in the same way. But even if not, to me, if I'm aligning my energetic frequency with his, my life is going to go in a better direction. It's going to go in a good direction.
And so, everyone else's that comes into contact with you.
Yeah. And so that's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah. Awesome. That's really good. Okay, so now you were going to you said you went on a route with recreational drugs.
Yeah.
Was there a certain poison of choice that you were into?
My motto was, I'll do it, try anything once, twice if I like it. So not particularly. I just kind of went the whole gamut.
Yeah.
From 15 to 25, pretty much.
Okay.
And I got married at 25 and stopped all that, moved away. I got sober probably 6 months or so before I got married. And so I knew that I wanted out of that life. He and I reconnected because it was that time I was finishing college, and we started talking. I think I went out to see him in Tennessee on my spring break, and it was like, well, I guess we're getting married, and you know what I mean? So then he planned the wedding actually because I was busy with trying to finish college and was taking like 18 hours that semester.
Because you were like ready to be done.
Yeah. I took I was working 32 hours a week at Mercy Hospital and taking 18 hours in college. It was insane. Wow. Yeah, it was a crazy.
It's crazy
semester.
What us young people we did when we were young, right?
Yeah, for sure. I can't. I mean, I probably have just a slightly less busy schedule now. But I definitely don't have as much energy as I did then. I don't know that that's true.
Well, I mean, Also, I feel like when you're moving in spirit, like it's so crazy how much energy
Yeah.
just kind of just flows into you.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's something I have noticed since I've started getting more in touch with that. Is because I was in this like corporate life before, and I was like burning myself out, but it was because I wasn't connected. And it's kind of crazy. Like after I kind of like got out of that burnout loop, and I was able to like restore my energy and stuff, and I was able to start like calling in source energy.
Right.
How much energy I'm actually having now, and it's kind of crazy because I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't burn out or whatever. But then I just get more and more energy, and it's been really nice.
It is, and that's one of the key ways I know if I'm not aligned is I start burning out,
feeling sluggish,
and
stuff,
and just getting frustrated more easily. Getting like kind of blame mentality. Well, if so and so would do this, or if I, and then I'm like, where's that? And I have to be like, okay, I'm not in alignment. Something I'm off of my path. You know what I mean? And I've got to veer back.
You're seeing the contrast of what you want and what you don't want.
Yes, yeah. And then once I get back in alignment, like you said, it just pours in.
Yeah.
And then doing my physical practices.
Yeah.
And keeping a good, clean diet, those kinds of things also really contribute to having the energy that I have to do what I do. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And then, so once you were in DC, what all happened in DC, and how long were you there?
Yeah. So I was working for a neurosurgeon there. I got hired while I was still in Oklahoma before I left because I was finishing, my degree here. And I worked in the university lab doing research. And that was what he hired me for there, is he was doing stem cell research. And so I was actually communicating with one of the generals in Pakistan because he was Pakistani. And at that time, George Bush, I think Jr. was in presidency and had banned stem cell research here. So he hired me to like do all the communications and help with the research project there. While I was there, I worked for him during the day, and then at night I started doing personal training at Gold's Gym, like group exercise and personal training, pursuing kind of those physical practices that had been of interest to me for a while. And then eventually I quit with him and just went full time into fitness. And I was there 2.5 years. And then 9/11 happened. So we were out there during the bombing. And we knew people in the Pentagon. We drove up to New York later that year and saw Ground Zero. And so, yeah, I guess it was maybe, later that year that we went up there. And then my ex-husband got just the idea that he wanted to join the Marine Corps at the age of 30. And so he did, and we got stationed in San Diego at Camp Pendleton, and so that's what moved us out there. And we were out there his whole time in the service, and then moved back to Oklahoma after he got out of the service just to be closer to family.
Right. So. And then whenever you were in California, that's kind of whenever you started more of the energy practices, correct?
Yes. In DC, I went to school for massage therapy. So after I'd quit with the neurosurgeon and I was doing fitness full time, I had decided I wanted, I was seeing injuries with working with people that I didn't know how to help them with. And so I wanted to know more. And I had a client who worked with a chiropractor, and I got to know her and just got real interested in massage, went to massage school. So right after graduating from massage schools, when we moved to California, and I was working, I got a job right away, part-time at personal training for 24-hour, it was a 24-hour fitness. And then there I started with the CHEK Institute, and that's where I got my holistic lifestyle coaching and exercise coaching. And CHEK stands for Corrective Holistic Exercise Kinesiology. And Paul was into what he called the Tai Chi stick. And I had taken Tai Chi in college.
And Paul is the founder of this organization?
Okay. Yeah. And he's pretty popular on YouTube, has a lot of videos out. Okay. And he was very much into meditation. His mother trained with Yogananda, and Yogananda's self-realization fellowship is in Encinitas, which is part of like where the CHEK Institute was at that time. And so we had, kind of started exploring some of the Tai Chi and meditation there, but not a lot. I was still more into just learning about the physical. Like I had gotten out of, like, I didn't go into psychology. Like a lot of my friends went in to get their masters for counseling. And I thought I might want to do that, but then I'm like, people's minds are way too messed up. Like I want to deal with the body. That's concrete. Because our mind and our body are not at all connected.
Yeah,
right?
the mind. How much comes up in the mind from the mind in the body? Is,
yeah. So that was 25-year-old me thinking.
That's when the real stuff comes up, right? It's in the body.
So I was like, yeah, that's like really grand. I can just do the physical practices.
Yeah.
And so I was introduced, I would say, to more of the mindfulness stuff, but no, I didn't really get into that until right before I moved there. And the Qigong instructor, who I have my certification with now, he sends out stuff for continuing education for massage therapists because they teach, Tai Chi and, Qigong to massage therapists to help build energy because you're transmitting energy when you're doing massage,
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw that come up, and I was having health problems at the time. I had my son. Obviously, I was under a lot of stress. My ex-husband went to Iraq twice and was on the front lines there. Lost a lot of people in his unit. I think a third of his unit was either killed or injured in Iraq. And so it was just a very stressful time. Young child. I never even babysat before I had a child. So that was a whole new experience.
Yeah.
So it's just an incredibly stressful time for me. He came back from Iraq, had contracted Giardia. So like we were dealing with like parasites, getting rid of that. We had black mold in the house. I ended up losing a ton of weight, starting to have thyroid issues. You know what I mean? So there's a lot like physiologically that was going on with me. I'd also decided, well, I'd been on all this medication because I was really sick as a child. And so I was on steroids and antibiotics a lot. And because in California, I was working part-time at a chiropractic office doing a massage after I had my son. And they were talking to me more about like alternative care with the Czech Institute. I was getting into the alternative care. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be on all these like immune suppressing drugs and all these things that I had grown up thinking was the only route. You know what I mean? I didn't understand alternative medicine. And so I pulled myself off of all those medications. And so my body was just going through massive stress of, being a military wife, having a new child, not having supportive family there, and then dealing with these physical issues. And so I heard about like the Qigong ceremony, or not ceremony, but like training. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it wasn't really a certification. It was just continuing ed. And it was a 3-day workshop. And probably still to this day, one of the most powerful group energy experiences I've had. We had about 250 people maybe there.
Wow.
And all practicing Qigong and breathing together for 3 days.
Wow.
And at the end of it, I felt like I was pretty much levitating. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I really was, but the lightness of energy from that room. And I knew right then that there was something to that. And I did it as a personal practice for a couple of years, then let it kind of go. And then 2019 was when I really circled back and knew I wanted to start teaching, and I was back here. And so that's when I went and got certified.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about what you do as president at, what all are you doing right now in your practices, in your offerings for, with your company and the different organizations that you're a part of?
Okay, so I've been a neuromuscular therapist, a massage therapist for 23 years now, I think. And then I started specializing in neuromuscular therapy. At the Czech Institute, when I was there, they encouraged me to go into that aspect. And so I trained for that. And so I've really specialized in myofascial release and neuromuscular therapy in my practice. And then corrective exercise in addition to that. So people come to me for private sessions, mostly chronic pain, and I assess them. And usually we start out with manual therapy and corrective exercise. If that doesn't get rid of it in 4 to 6 weeks, generally speaking, if it is truly just a structural issue, 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to have at least 60% reduction in pain. Mm-hmm. If it starts lingering past that, and I know people are doing the stuff on their own at home, then we start looking into systemic stuff. And, I'm certified through the Czech Institute for the Holistic Lifestyle Coaching, so there's a lot of nutrition in that. And then with my Qigong instructor, I'm certified as a food healing coach. So I work, and I'm also certified through Functional Medicine University as a functional medicine practitioner.
Okay.
So, that's kind of the next route we go, is I start asking them to bring me lab reports that they've done with their doctors. If they haven't done any, I recommend labs I want them to go and get from their doctor. And then we just start looking at nutrition and blood work from there. And meanwhile, in all of that, we're working on the mindfulness and emotional aspects, because what I do with the Qigong is part of traditional Chinese medicine. And so emotions, each organ is connected to an emotion. For instance, like liver is anger, kidneys are fear. So as I'm assessing the body and seeing where there is stored energy, like stagnant energy that's not moving in the body, I can kind of often associate it with a nearby organ, and also with what they're sharing, because people often open up and talk, when they're getting body work. And so we can start to put those things together of, where that stored trauma or emotional stress is, and then do the Qigong or mindfulness practices to help move that energy out of the body. And everybody's different. Sometimes it's a movement practice. Sometimes it's like self-myofascial release and massage. Sometimes it's just meditation. So everybody, of course, it's going to need different things. And so I just offer just kind of that full mind, body, spirit program, and meet people where they're at with what they need based on what they're presenting with at the time. So that's my personal practice.
Yeah.
I operate out of the Radiant Living Center, and I've been associated with them for about 4 years. I came in because I was offering my own little dance type thing that was just like a DJ. I mean, we had no DJ. It was just like a playlist and people on a wrestling mat in my old thing, like my old space. And then Joyous Melody, who used to run Radiant Living Center, she knew what I was doing, and somebody came in from New York and had contacted her, and they had Ecstatic Dance in New York, and it's like, why don't we have that here? So she put Stephen and I together, and there was about 6 of us that originally co-founded the Ecstatic Dance Oklahoma City. It was running through my business first, and then there was a lot more that we wanted to do with it. I knew eventually I'd want to get grant funding and things for it. And so we asked Joyous if we could run it through the nonprofit. And she said, on one condition. I said, okay, what's that? She's like, you become a board member. And I'm like, that sounds fun. I'll do that. And so I had no idea what that entailed. It's been a lot more work than I ever thought it would be. But it's good. And it's changed so much over the 4 years. The Ecstatic Dance, we have a whole different team of organizers now. Most people have moved on from that original team of 6. And we've got a new beautiful team that's been together for about 2.5, 3 years now, I guess, probably. And we're just building and growing. And Joyous left Radiant Living maybe 1.5 years or so ago now.
Okay.
I took over the president role last year in, I think, August. Okay. And just since January of this year, there have just been change after change after change, and all for the better, in my opinion. So it's been hard and challenging and beautiful all at the same time.
That's good. So it's like been a good. What am I trying to think of? It's like whenever you say something is harder, it's more of like, do you feel like it's like the expansion of what you're holding, almost like it's a growth thing?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it challenging, just because it's like a new like level of what you can hold and create all at once. Yes. Is that possible?
Yeah, and then those questions of, do I have the capacity of this? Am I qualified for this? Or how can I get help for this? And, so there's, I believe in, just my own personal beliefs, it's all about the stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when I start getting into the thinking of, there's not enough support, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough whatever, that's where I realize I'm falling out of alignment, right? I was telling you earlier, the
Yes.
burnout comes because those stories get heavy.
Uh-huh.
Energy carries a vibrational weight.
Mhm.
Emotions carry a vibrational frequency.
Mhm.
And so when we are stuck in depression, fear, shame, guilt, those are very dense, low vibrational frequency emotions.
Mhm.
And so they weigh us down.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about Qigong is because it's an internal martial art practice, we are using our mind to overcome matter.
Mhm.
And so it's all about changing those stories and all about using the breath and the thoughts to transmute those old, heavy, dense energies into this new, lighter, more beautiful thing, So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. I've gone to one of her classes and I absolutely loved it. My personal experience with it was that I had gone in there and it was kind of like after I had gone through a phase of like how you're saying, like those denser energies were just kind of like I had gone through probably the last couple of years before that. I was dealing with kind of like reestablishing some roots, but I was digging up some weeds that were in there that had been kind of just shoved away for a while. And they had to be pulled up and they had to be felt and they had to be released. But that took a lot of energy out of me. And like, so I was kind of like starting to get, was starting to reascend on my like vibration. And then when I went to the class, it really helped me like ground that in.
Oh, nice.
And so it was really great for me. And
Awesome.
it was a really awesome practice. And I hope to do some more of it with you soon.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Kelsey and I have the two more of the Friday classes that we're doing as a joint
Yes.
collaboration, which that's been fun to
Good.
work with her on that.
So is it a closed series or is it something that someone can jump into?
We have two classes left, and so you could purchase those two classes alone. And then the first time, if it's somebody's the first time and they want to just come try it out, they could do that on that last one if they wanted to. But yeah.
Okay. And that one's online, correct?
Yeah, you can sign up through mine or hers or the Radiant. It's all posted on our socials.
And then and I'll post all the links in the description for this video interview. And also for your the practices that you do with your private services, that's through Radiant Healing Art Center on the website to do booking, or is that through your website?
That's through mine. Yeah, Mind and Body Fitness Connections.
Yes.
I have my own website. It's mindandbodyfitness.net. And I have socials. Zen Zone OKC are the socials for that to find me. But yeah, I'm listed on the Radiant Healing Arts Center page as a practitioner and board member. So people can find me that way, and contact me that way. But to book, it would be through my own site.
Through your website?
Okay. Yeah, because all the practitioners, we have 11 practitioners at Radiant Living Center now. And we all have our own private businesses that rent space from there. So,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So the public service work that you're doing at the mental health hospital, is that grant work or is that through a nonprofit? Or
no, it's a private hospital, and so they just pay me. I'm just a contractor for them. And I teach 4 classes a week there, and there's 3 different units. There's behavioral health, or mental health, substance abuse, and then PTSD for veterans and first responders.
Okay.
So I teach twice in the substance abuse unit and then 1 time in mental health and PTSD units a week.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
You have a really busy schedule.
I have a crazy schedule.
You do.
Yeah. Yes.
So do you have any advice for someone that is wanting to move into this spiritual service type of industry that maybe, but you've been in it, you've kind of just gradually moved into it, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to stay out of the woo aspect of it. And interestingly, I really wanted to be seen early in my career as a more of the medical side. And, I chart notes and I do like what you'd see most like physical therapists do. I kind of keep notes and do things similarly in that way. But what I've realized as just in the last probably 2 years, is seeing, of course, how disconnected the medical community is. And it's like, it takes that compassion and that seeing the person for who they are out of it. So I'm realizing and sort of reframing how I even approach my practice now from that clinical setting to just a personal setting. And I think as I've done that, part of that spiritual aspect has come in. And I still am not real into the woo. Like, I like science. I want to know why it works, you know? And so I'm very science-based with it, but I am learning that just like before, right? I wanted to keep the brain and head stuff separate from the body stuff, and finally I blended those, but I don't want to move the spiritual stuff in there yet, and it's like all coming together finally.
Well, and I think it's a good place to be, because I mean, honestly, we need more practitioners like you, because there is a like 90% of what kind of healing that goes on, like especially here in Oklahoma, I would feel like a lot of people are not going to be super open to, and they're more and more open to it rapidly, honestly. But there's a huge niche of people that need to have what you're offering, and you also have this like unique perspective of having like that knowledge of both worlds that can help people and make it comfortable. It's important to make people comfortable where they're at, and that's definitely what you're doing. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I would say the personal work I've been doing is like my mantra for the year has been create space and release judgment.
Yes.
And so I find myself constantly having to do that for myself as well as with others. And I've seen those situations come up that it's like, oh, is that what you really want? Let me put a situation right in front of you where you could judge the crap out of it. You know what I mean? And I find myself getting into that mode, and then I'm like, well, that's not Jesus's energy, you know? And so that's not what I want to be aligned with, you know.
I've been working through the same stuff. It's like, just like, it's funny because it's just an old tape that's like playing. It may not even be your own voice, you know. It's like that inner critic thing. But I know that at least with like my own like Virgo energy and my own personal chart, it picks the things that are it nitpicks a little bit. So, and it can find the things. It's always finding what can be better. If that makes sense.
Yes.
And it's great because it's great for self-improvement, but it can get a little overboard and like not productive, because if you're just constantly poking and poking, and like being able to hold space for people exactly where they're at and see that this is part of their process, and every level of the process is just as beautiful and important as, I mean, we're going to be growing our whole lives. And who's to say that if you spiritually bypass one step, then you're going to have to like backtrack. So it's better to just meet people where they're at, see the beauty of where they're at. And that's, I mean, if that's that kind of what you're going through with that. I mean, I feel like that's how I'm kind of trying to be, is like, I'll be like talking to people at work, and I've been accused of being like, she sits in a room, you sit down in a room with her, and you just have to tell her all your deepest, darkest secrets. And I'm sure you go through the same thing, but like, I've been practicing like just really having love for where they're at in their moment currently, because that's the path. It's just where they're at on the path, and just because we're on different places, and because I'm not like totally enlightened in every aspect of my own life, and I can't expect other people to be. And like, even if, and we can see the blind spots of others more than we can see the blind spots of our own.
Oh my gosh, so much. Yeah.
So you have to know, and have to know that like, that's their blind spot. They don't see it, just like you don't see your own blind spots. So like, how can you be compassionate while you're holding space for them and letting them kind of find their own answer? How do you what's your opinion on that? Like, do you try to help people kind of come to their own conclusion, or do you like really just like to put out the facts, and like, what's your
Well, this is interesting.
Practicing.
A question.
Yeah.
I'm learning that there is a difference between how I work with clients and how I work with, or even like people that I work with at the center, coworkers and clients, versus like family and close friends or people in relationship. You know what I mean? Because it's working with people, just asking questions and trying to lead them there. You know what I mean? It's like I can see it, but just being like, hey, this is what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's not always welcome. They're not ready to hear that.
Yeah.
And so when they can say it on their own, when you can ask questions and then they have that aha moment, it sticks.
It's empowering for them too, because
right.
it's like it's giving them that connection to source,
right?
And they're getting that connection, and they're getting that epiphany on their own. You're just kind of showing them where the stream's at,
yes,
instead of doing it for them. So you said that you do it differently with family and clients. So what's the difference? Which
it's
way do
so
you go
much
with
harder
which?
for me with family.
Oh, for sure.
To not have that judgmental, what the F is wrong with you? Why don't you see this? Like, oh my gosh, my level of patience is so much. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean,
so now, not my son. My son's 21, about almost 21, and we have a beautiful relationship. We joke that, like, I think he was a parent of mine in another life. But yeah, so I don't have that issue with him. I've been able to keep that pretty much, of questioning him and supporting him. But yeah, other relationships that are close, it's a work in progress, and I think it's because, right, like when you're talking to your parents or other family, they've seen you through every phase, right?
And they hold old memories of you.
Yeah, and you do of them, right? So
yeah.
letting them out of their box, them letting you out of your box, or
letting them off the hook.
Yeah, and so it is. I'm finding that's my work right now for sure.
Just let me know when you get it figured out.
Yeah, it is interesting for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So after you're finished with the series that you're doing with Kelsey, are you starting one right after that?
Man, I have so many things coming up. I was just kind of looking at my schedule. So on the 27th of September, I have a workshop at Soul Yoga, which is a center studio I'm collaborating with.
It's a single day workshop?
Yep. Okay. A 2 hour from 3 to 5 p.m. On the 5 elements practice. So it'll be a little bit of lecture, a little bit of practice.
Is that like Qigong?
Okay. Yes, 5 elements Qigong. And then in October, I am going to be teaching Qigong at the Big Om retreat that is through Be Love Yoga, and they do 4 retreats a year, and I'm excited to be able to be up there with them.
Where is that going to be at?
It's near, trying to think, Speary, Oklahoma.
Okay, so it's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's up by the Tulsa area. So,
okay.
And that'll be 3 days in October. And then November at Radiant Living, I'll start another 6-week series for the 5 elements. So what I'm doing at Soul Yoga is a very abbreviated version, just kind of an introduction, and then I'll do a deep dive for 6-week class at Radiant in November.
Okay, so will that be in-person class?
Okay,
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yay, so you do have a lot coming up.
I do have a lot, yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and I'm doing a 6-week series right now, Wednesday nights on a Qi level 2, like Qi cultivation level 2.
Okay.
I did the level 1 in the spring, and so we were learning through the system that I was trained under in the spring how to cultivate the Qi, and now what we're working with is how to transmit. So it's a fun practice. We're going to be getting into some really fun partnered transmission. So that's
cool. That sounds great.
Yes.
So when are you teaching the level 1 again?
I'll teach it next year. Yeah, I need to sit down. That's another thing on my to-do list is figure out what all I'm doing next year. I'm hoping to do a retreat in the Virgin Islands next year. Kelsey and I are talking about that.
Ooh,
so
that will be fancy.
Will be nice. So that's it's still very in the initial stages of planning, but yeah, that's a hope. So I need to, that's the plan, is to sit down and kind of figure out when all my workshops will be next year. So
that'll be amazing. Oh man, cool.
Yeah.
there's so many exciting things for people to get in touch with you and work with you and experience all of your wonderful talents and skills. And
Thank you. Yes.
I'm definitely blessed to know you, and the community is blessed to have you. And Brian and I are going to be at Ecstatic Dance tomorrow. So are you going to be
Awesome.
there?
I will be there. Yeah.
Yay!
And two, I want to not forget to mention how grateful that I am for you coming to our, art exhibition.
Oh, thank you.
I get to walk out of my office and see your art. I go up, because yours is by the front door.
Yes.
So I go up there and, when I'm messing with the air conditioner or the front door locks and lights and things like that, and I get to walk by all your stuff.
Oh, wonderful.
So grateful that you are part of the center.
It looks so good. The whole Lauren's the lady that set everything up, right? She did an incredible job.
She did amazing.
Looks
Yes.
so good. The other artists, it was really great to get to know all of them.
Yeah.
Connected with both of them. I'm going to volunteer at the 12 by 12 that Carrie is going to be in. It's Carrie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's going to be doing. So she suggested, you should volunteer. That way you can get to know people with OVAC and just nice. It's been good to get back in the art community. Everyone's just kind of hopped on me since, which has been really good.
Yeah.
And I had someone reach out to me from looking at the paintings about doing private art lessons already.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes. So I, proposed my packages and everything to her, and
you've got an upcoming class.
Yes, and a class at Radiant. So I was gonna tell you that I'm wanting to do it just immediately following the sound bath on Mondays, the second Monday. I sent the email. I don't know. Are you in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I did see it come through. Yes.
So. Okay. Cool. So I was thinking I would just do it right immediately after that. So once a month for now, and if it gets popular, we can maybe do a series or something. But yeah, I think it'll be good.
Awesome.
As a meditation practice. So I'm going to be doing Asumi Nagashi. It's a ancient Japanese water marbling that I'll be teaching at Radiant Healing Arts Center. That's the correct name now, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we used to be Radiant Living Center.
Yeah.
We got lots of comments that, what do you do for old folks? People thought we were servicing seniors. And so,
which you do, but not just
yes,
that.
Not just that for sure. So yes, we're not an assisted living facility.
The Radiant Healing Arts Center. Yes. I love the name, and I just wanted to make sure I had it right with it being changed and everything. But yeah, I think it'll stick and it'll be perfect. And I'm excited about teaching. And then one of the other artists is going to be teaching the wood burning. What is it called?
I think it's just a wood burning workshop. And
okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's got two. I can't remember the dates, but they're in October. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be really neat. He's great.
Yeah. He's been helping me out with getting prints and ready and stuff. So that'll be perfect. And for all the shows.
He's on fire.
He's on fire, and I love it.
I know.
He's giving me energy, and it's perfect.
Yes, for sure. So
it's a good friend to have.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming and redoing this interview with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So blessed, and yes, absolutely. So everyone, take a look at all the links with Gwen. Anything you take with her, you'll definitely get more than you paid for out of it. So if you have any questions, leave in the comments, and I'm sure I can get anything that you need answered for anything you are needing to know about any of her programs.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.